stories also increase the value, okay? Now, a couple things I want you to understand. Number one, for someone to change their destiny, they have to make a decision. Okay, this is true first off for all of you, and second off, it's true for all the people you're serving. Okay, for someone to change their destiny, they have to make a decision. Number two, for them to make a decision, you have to change their state. Okay, and then the best way to change their state is through story. So if we take that backwards, I got to figure out how to tell stories so I can change people's states. If I can change their state, then I can help them make a decision that's going to empower them. And if I can help them make a decision that's going to empower them, I can change their life. I can change their destiny. That's why stories are so important.
The key to getting booked and partnerships is first and foremost, how do you add 10 times the value to that person? If they're an A-lister and you're not, how do you add 10 times the value to them? Because they're not going to notice if you don't. So if you don't have a game plan to go, hey, how can I do this? How can I help you? How can I serve you? They're not going to pay attention. So that's the first thing. How do you add 10 times value? Secondly, even before the 10 times value, I'll say, let's reverse this. Build the relationship first, find out what they want. Even if it's a fleeting moment, find out, what does this person want? What's their hot button? Listen to them talk. People will give away what their hot buttons are, okay? So one, develop the relationship, find out what they want. Two, then add 10 times value to them. Then have your ask ready. As you add the value to them, what do you want? If somebody's going to say to you, hey, like, what can I do for you? Know what you want. If all of a sudden you're in front of a big player and they're like, hey, I'd like to do something to help you in return, and you don't have an answer, that might drift and fleet away. Like, what is your actual ask? And know it. Like, do you want to get booked on a podcast? Do you want to get booked on a stage? Do you want to be on their stage? Do you want to get them to promote you to their email list? Do you want, like, what do you want? And be prepared with some options, because if they don't have it, like that one thing, be prepared with a second option and a third option. You might be like, hey, I've got this thing that, like, it'd be amazing for you to promote. No, I'm not really promoting anybody right now. Okay, great. So are there any things that you are promoting? Yeah, like stages. Okay, I'd love to be on a stage. Great. So have your ask ready. And then finally, with it, one of the best things you can do is be part of events, be at events, be part of groups. Because in the groups, you'll make great connections. Like, I met Marsha at the group. I got the opportunity to meet Patrick, my director, from her, getting booked on her stage. So literally, like, being at a networking event, meeting the escape artist guy, I turned a disaster into an opportunity. And that disaster led me to Laurel's stage, led me to Marsha's stage, led me to the director of my one-man play. So there's always a way to turn a problem or something that's not working into a great opportunity. You just need to look for it. So you have the story, and then when you come out of the story, another good thing to have is if you have some client stories too, that would be helpful. Because somebody will hear your story and go, you did that, you've been doing this for years. But when they hear a client success story, then they go, oh, wow, I could do this too. And the key to client success stories is ideally you want to have people from all different backgrounds, like in terms of like their skill levels here, 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 and here. So if you have all different skill levels of people who've succeeded, then the person who has a lower skill level is like, oh, I resonate with that person. The person who's really high, I resonate with that person. So have success stories. And then in the presentation, you want to get into the content. So when you come out of the storytelling, then you want to get into the content. So the content in storytelling, the content in a presentation should be content piece 1, content piece 2, content piece 3. So when you're giving a talk and you got 60 minutes, give them 3 pieces of content. If you're doing a YouTube live, give them 3 pieces of content. If you're on a podcast, give them 3 pieces of content, right? You start going into 5, 6, 7 things, people are like, whoa, too much. So you want to do it in 3s. 1, 2, 3. Also, one of the keys to content is don't give content that's so over people's head. So in your content, in a talk, you want to give a talk that is at the right level for the audience, particularly when you're starting out. And you should all know what are the 3 basic things in your talk that, like, they're the non-negotiables, I call them. They're like the thing that you do that's like, you have to have this foundation. If you do not have this foundation, you can't go to the next level. And so if you think about what that is for the customer, what's the actual foundation that they need to have and they need to know, that's your 3 non-negotiables. It's like, I can't build the building or the skyscraper unless the foundation is super solid. If the customer knows the foundation, they can go to the next floor. And we can build and build and build. But if they don't know the foundation, they won't win. Okay, with a presentation like what I'm teaching you right now, the foundational pieces of it are you got to have good content, you got to have a good story, right? Super foundational, and you got to have a good message/headline. Message, headline is one. Like, what's the message? Is one. Number two, what's the story? Number three, what's the content? So your basic frame of a presentation is those three things. Everything else around it is the filler stuff you're putting in.
All right, quick pause. So if you're liking this and you want help applying it to your business, just click the link down below and you can book a free strategy call with one of my consultants. And these exact systems I'm sharing with you today, we've helped thousands apply them to their business. Let's get back to it.
So if you're going to drill somebody on being a great speaker or delivering a good communication, it would be boom, 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 those three things. And then anytime you get off base or you get lost or you're giving a presentation, you just come back to that thing. So you know, it's kind of like you're guiding, it's like your lighthouse. It's like you're giving a talk, feel free to be free, go wherever you want, and then boom, come back. You could have one signature talk, but also like you want to have different kinds of stories. So you want to have like a personal story, which is one. You want to have success stories of your clients, which is two. You want to have some time story, which is three. Like I just gave you a time story. How am I going to be in two places at once? Make sense? Like somebody who's struggling with time, who's listening to that, like, yeah, how am I going to be in two places at once? I want to do two things. I want to do this, I don't want to do that. And that's pretty much this whole room because you're entrepreneurs, and so you're always thinking of new ideas. I want to go here, I want to go here. There is a solution. And that's one of the reasons why I tell this story, because there is a solution. There always is a solution. Right? And it's like, well, I got too many things going on, then just broaden the vision. You just haven't seen how everything connects to the vision. If the vision is this, and then everything is like a chess piece on the board, it all plays in a symphony together. When somebody's like, it's too much stuff. No, your vision needs to expand. You go, boom, my vision's this, and you can connect everything. And then as your vision expands, you can be responsible for everything. And then you can do everything. But most of the time, they're like, oh, I got this thing, and I got that thing, and that doesn't work, and that doesn't work. It's like, how does it all fit as one? Like every single piece of your life, how does it all fit together? And if you expand your vision, you'll see. And then you'll solve lots of problems. And then you'll have more time. And you'll be doing more. How does that make sense? I'm doing more and I have more time. Yeah, you'll have more time. You'll create time. You'll find time. Right? Powerful people, right? They find and they create time. They take on things because it's like, you want something done, give it to the dude who's in action, man. Don't give it to the person who's not in action. Okay? You'll notice this. Who do you go to in your company? The person who gets things done. Right? You give it to them because you trust them. Right? They're overwhelmed with stuff, but you trust them because they get it done. They figure it out. So ultimately in storytelling, to answer your question, is have a story that is also a time story, also have a money story. A time where you couldn't figure out the money. I just gave you one of those too. I mean, the truth is they're just really fun stories, so I like to tell them. And they just happen to have time and money in them. But it's just fun. Like telling a story is fun. It's fun. People like, do you guys like stories? Yes? Yeah. It's fun. Stories are fun. It also breaks up the content. So you want to break up the content for people. So with that, you can have a time story, you can have a money story, you can have a success story, you can have a personal story, you can have a story about purpose. Like purpose. You could have a story about loss. So you could have like 6 different kinds of stories. Now you're going to go, how the hell am I going to put that all in one presentation? You're not. You might in one presentation have your own personal story and a few success stories, and you're done. But if you're going to lead a seminar, you want to have a bunch of stories throughout the weekend so you can tell all kinds of different stories to break up the monotony of the content because people can only absorb so much. So in that case, and then as you're going to speak and do many YouTube shows and many podcasts, like eventually people are going to be like, okay, like let's hear another story. So you have different stories. Okay, and then you get into the content, and then the content, the 3 pieces of content, you want to make them simple. The basic stuff make simple first before you get into the complex stuff. Like the non-negotiables, what do they have to know? If you don't tell them these 3 things, they're toast. What are those 3 things? And make it in a presentation, like in the offer when you're pitching, there's one thing that you just don't do, and that's just only making one call to action. In an offer, you have to make more than one call to action. And it's not salesy, and it's not pushy, and it's not like you're gonna be viewed like, you're a salesman, blah, blah, blah. You've got to get that out of your head, because if you want to help people, you're gonna help 5% of the room if you make one call to action. Right? So that's the rule on pitching, but the rule on presenting, the one thing you must do on presenting that you have to do is simplify it. And do not use industry jargon. Some of you have heard this story before, but I'm going to tell it anyway because it's a good story. To remind you, my client David, chiropractor, right? He walked into me and he's like, first time meeting him, he's like, yeah, so I do this chiropractic thing. And I'm like, oh yeah, so what is it? And he's like, it's like ba-ba, 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 ba. And it's like UFOs are flying over my head. I'm like, I have no idea what this guy is talking about right now. He's using all this industry jargon. I'm like, dude, what are you even talking about? I have no clue what you're talking about. Please stop. And he's like, this is what I do. I see it, but I don't understand what you do. And you're using all these words. I just got 7 misunderstood words in the first 17 seconds of talking to you. Like, so he's like, yeah, so I work on people. And he had his chiropractic table at the time. And so I was like, dude, like he came highly referred. I normally never let somebody do this. I'm like, just work on me. So he works on me. And I get off the table and I'm like, that was amazing, man. I feel like more open and powerful and passionate. I was like, who do you want to work with? He's like, oh, I think I want to work with men. I'm like, great, you should work with high-achieving men. And when they get off the table, guess what happens? They feel powerful and passionate. And as a speaker, I can be more productive. And then in life, I can make more money and I can help more people. And so you help people, men, and when they get off the table, they're on fire. So your brand is going to be called Man on Fire. And I said, please go. Don't give me any more misunderstood words. Please leave my presence. What's that? That's right. So he's still my friend today, really close friend. He's amazing. So he birthed the brand and then completely transformed his business model and went from an in-office, like brick and mortar, to we put him to his first retreat ever with within 120 days out of working with me, maybe sooner. And he got 22 people in the room and he got up there and we simplified his communication, right? Similarly, I gave him one of those dog collars, so every time he used a bad word, I just zap him, okay? Right? So I'm just kidding, joke, okay? So I said, simplify your communication. I said, make it really, really, really simple. Make it super simple. And I said, just give the communication to people, and he did. And he gave it, and he talked about the benefits, and I taught him how to make a pitch from the stage, and he did $150,000 in sales at his first seminar ever, and a brand was born, and it was so exciting. He was blown away, and so was his fiance. Cool, right? Give David a round of applause. And as I told my other group yesterday, as a reminder, he was the guy running around my condo on the top floor, opening the door to the balcony, going, funnels, I hate funnels, I'm going to jump. He hated funnels, hated technology. He would approach the subject and want to run away and jump off the balcony. But he then went on and scaled his business to nearly 4 million with funnels. Okay, by taking a presentation that he mastered on the stage and then using that presentation and automating it online to book calls for his team, which at the time he had 0 teams, 0 salespeople. But when I was done with him, he had a team of 5 or 6 salespeople. Make sense? So that's what happened. From a single shift of what I'm teaching you right now is the content, the non-negotiables of what he started communicating actually made sense to people because he started talking in outcomes and simplicity versus industry jargon.
So if you're serious about scaling your business online and you want help with my one-to-many selling method to sell on podcasts or webinars or virtual stages or in person, then click the link down below and book a free strategy call. My coaches will help you implement it. We've worked with over 30,000 businesses on these very same strategies. Click it down below and go book. See you soon.